Well, I don't know if I like your tone. It's most challenging. Is that what you're doing, challenging me?
I object to you. I object to intellect without discipline. I object to power without constructive purpose.
And we are live in the garage. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for hanging in through my usual technical difficulty. I took a shower, guys, because I was like, hey, I'm starting at 11:30. I had that firmly baked in my mind that this was starting at 11:30. It was not. It was supposed to be 11. So thank you, guys. Thank you for hanging in, having your own party here at Raised in Scientology. I'm Nora, of course, your host, born in and escaped Scientology. So, guys, we have some exciting stuff to talk about today here for sure. This came across my radar because I was looking at Scientology's website for something totally else, okay? And then I dove into their Freedom magazine, just for shits and giggles to see the bullshit that they're putting out there. And here is a brand new article that they have put out November 9th, so it's just barely a month old. It's exactly a month old. Scientologist Claude, it's actually not Claude, it's Claude because that's the woman's name, and Noah use movement to take wellness and those they help to the next level. Okay. Hang on a second here. How did all of my things get so messed up? Like, this doesn't even make no sense, y'all. Don't let your children come in and touch your things. That's all I have to say about that. Because they have literally, oh, that's why. Okay, so I have a super huge secondary display, right? And for some reason, it got this shape of this overlay that I'm very gingerly moving around the whole screen here, got set at that shape. So my primary screen is my laptop, which is, a little bit of a rectangle, but it's a MacBook Pro, the 13-inch, right? It's just a little guy. It's just a little guy. And my big screen is a huge curved rectangular screen. So somehow it was trying to mimic that. And that's not good stuff. All right. So these choreographers met in Hollywood. Of course they did, and found a common ground and a desire to promote wellness through motion. It's their pathway to happiness and self-empowerment. So here they are, doing the touch of creation here while jumping in the desert in sort of, unison, staring at each other, okay? When you think of dancers, you often picture grace, agility, and strength, qualities that have defined the careers of Claude Racine and Noah Valinsky. But in recent years, the couple who met on a Hollywood set and gained fame for their dynamic choreography has transitioned from center stage to the gym floor. That sounds like it could be a whole other type of show. Their new mission: to help others achieve optimal health and fitness. Claude and Noah's evolution from in-demand dancers and choreographers to fitness and wellness experts may seem like a departure from their original path, but it's actually a natural progression. After years of pushing their bodies to new heights in the world of dance, they realized that the broader impact they could have by applying to personal training their knowledge of movement, conditioning, and nutrition. Noah, who grew up in inner city Chicago and fed his way into dance through street culture, is now focused on helping others use their bodies better. His street-savvy freestyle background has translated seamlessly into fitness training where functional movement and body awareness are key. This is their TikTok. We'll go over that in a minute here. Dancers are so in tune with their body, he explains. And that's why I want to help people with how to move better, how to avoid injury, and how to build strength in a way that supports their everyday lives. This all sounds wonderful. Claude is, of course, originally from Montreal, Canada, because Claude. And classically trained in ballet, jazz, and tap, has become a certified functional nutritionist, rounding out the couple's expertise. Her journey into nutrition was sparked by a desire not only to help others move better, but also to ensure they are nourishing their bodies for peak performance. Okay. Now, I just want you guys to notice at this point that both these people were successful dancers on their own. Okay. Definitely TikTok famous, all that kind of stuff, you know, and now they're flipping their script into this whole other genre, right? Dance has always been about discipline, she says, and now I'm applying that same philosophy to nutrition and exercise and helping my clients create non-negotiable habits that transform their bodies and their lives. Although their primary focus is now on health and wellness, Claude and Noah haven't left their dance roots behind. Every Tuesday, they share their love for dance with over 500,000 followers on TikTok through their popular TikTok Tuesday routines. It's a way for them to stay connected to their artistic side while spreading joy to their fans. And it's a reminder that movement in all its forms is central to a healthy lifestyle. Their personal training programs are not your typical gym routines. Their approach is to instill a high level of responsibility in their clients, along with a commitment to health and well-being. Okay, guys, notice all the Scientology sprinkled in here. Okay. Developing habits and lifestyles that build strength in body and character. They focus on creating resilience, patience, and confidence so that clients can be better parents, leaders, husbands, and wives. This holistic approach has made them the couple in the world of fitness and wellness. When we asked about the inclusion of breaking in the 2024 Olympics, Noah couldn't hide his excitement. It's awesome, he told Freedom, beaming with pride for the competitors. These people do things with their bodies that nobody can do. They defy freaking gravity. It's great. And to give them a platform is even cooler. Never mind the fact that that was the most embarrassing thing that has ever happened in the history of the Olympics. Okay. Don't even get me started. Wow, Mrs. Smith. What just happened? I just moved myself to the side. So you used to dance with her in LA decades ago. She wasn't like this. Then hanging out with celebrities. Now she's selling stuff and doing whatever this is. Oh, we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it, Mrs. Smith. Yeah. Claude echoes Noah's admiration for the dancers, especially from the perspective, sorry guys, from the perspective, I'm just going to lock that down, of someone who's spent a lifetime perfecting her own movements. Seeing dance celebrated on such a huge stage like the Olympics is incredible, she adds. It shows how much dance has evolved and how it continues. Oh, what's this? Is this Meet a Scientologist, Claude Racine and Noah Valinsky? Did they put that in there? Okay. Claude and Noah's influence extends beyond their own fitness journey. Their philosophy is rooted in the idea that movement is a pathway to happiness and self-empowerment. Whether they're coaching clients in the gym or performing a choreographed routine online, they aim to inspire others to move, live, and feel better in their bodies. Whether it's through a TikTok routine or a personal training session, their message is clear. The key to a fulfilled life is found through movement. Oh, don't say that. You can't claim to know what the key to life is. That's just Scientology. L. Ron Hubbard said as much in 1951, survival is accomplished only by motion. That's not a complete quote. So let's look at this Meet a Scientologist. Let's see what Scientology says about them. Also, this is used, again, disclaimer, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowances made for fair use purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All rights and credit go directly to the rightful owners. No copyright infringement is intended. Sorry, guys, I have to put that up before we get into these things because, you know, people like to try and copyright strike you when you're making a commentary video. I don't know. Don't ask me. I didn't make the rules. Here we go. Oh, it's 30 minutes long. Oh, we're not watching this whole thing. They really like these guys. They did a 30-minute video. Can we get into the meat and potatoes here? Oh, Scientology, go fuck yourself. Can I not fast forward this? Okay, here we go.
Tap, hip hop.
I have none of that at all. While she was getting her training, I was getting street training.
Okay. Let's skip ahead here.
They were like starting to break. And then one day I was racing, I was 80 miles an hour, like up this canyon.
Look at the reenactment of him racing 80 miles an hour up this canyon. It's slow motion.
And the next thing I know, I woke up and the car was in the middle of the street. There was an SUV over here. Nothing happened to him, thank God. And they go, I'm gonna die if I don't figure out something, if I don't ground myself.
Okay, so he hit rock bottom. That's what he just described. He hit a rock bottom from whatever was going on in his life.
Somebody I knew had gone to the Church of Scientology and like talked to me about it. And I was like, cool. And
then I was like, cool. Cool. Okay, so he got in through something. You guys should, I'm going to put a link to this article so you guys can read it and then watch this video if you want to find out their Scientology story, but that's not really the point. Everybody's Scientology story of getting into Scientology is universally the same, right? Something bad was going on in their life, okay? And by this, I mean people who walked into a Church of Scientology willingly like these people did. Not people like myself who were born into it, okay? But universally, people who get into Scientology on purpose, right, do so because some shitty things going on in their life, and they have a friend magically who's also been doing Scientology and tells them about how it's helped them with this, that, and the other thing. And their friend's just so successful. Like, I should definitely try. I've tried everything else. I'm fucked, right? And then they just go into it. Okay. So let's take a look. This is their TikTok. Okay. The Valinskis, they have a small child who they also use frequently on their TikTok. They make these, you know, there's their kid running by. Okay. They did that. I'm not putting a child on the internet. They are putting their child on the internet. He's dancing with him here in a baby Bjorn with roller skates. That's not just a Scientology move. That's a dad move. That is just a straight up, like, I'm a dad, I can do whatever I want move, right? Here's just some examples of their original choreography. They've put some disco lights in, you know, their kitchen. This is where they do a lot of it. Here's their garage. Now, listen, I'm jealous of that garage. I wish my garage were that organized. They have the cool, like, floor in there and shit. Like, that's a beautiful garage. I'm gonna just say it. Okay. So they do a lot of dancing. In their bio, it says Noah, Claudette, and Nova, their kid. They're putting them on there. Saucy dance fam. Brooklyn at brooklyntalentagency.com. That's how you can book them for something. Okay. And then they have they link to their Instagram here. Okay. And then their Instagram links to their YouTube. Okay. So on Insta, they only have 29,000 followers. On here, they have 531. Okay. Hi, welcome to our crazy world. We're a little family of 3 who love helping. I got to move my big old head here. Who love helping. Oh, who love life and helping others. Okay. So we're here to help inspire you. So it's a lot of the same content, as you can see, but not all of it, because they clearly have just started here. And then YouTube is even sadder. So their YouTube, they have 353 subscribers. Now, this is a video they put up from 5 months ago. I want you to see how he looks right now here, how she looks. And let's go back to this video here, how they looked in this video that Scientology did about them, right? Let's look at his body language, at his face. Okay. Look at them. They're still relatively happy people. Okay. And then we go here and look at them now. So we're going to watch this video. But before we watch the video, I want to go over a very important reference here. Science of Survival. This is the book from 1951. This is dedicated to his daughter, Diana. He dedicated this book to his daughter, Diana. Okay. He's going to acknowledge all these people. Okay. These are philosophers. Very important. Isaac Newton. He's going to thank Isaac Newton. 50,000 years. Okay. Now, you used to have, Freud and other people on here. And my instructors in atomic and molecular phenomena, mathematics, and the humanities at George Washington University and at Princeton. I don't believe that he ever went to Princeton. Okay. All right. So the table of contents. This is where we get the tone scale, guys. This is book 2. Science of Survival was written after Dianetics. This is his follow-up. Okay. Dianetic evaluation. These are all the columns of the chart of human evaluation. Okay. So the one that I am looking for is a very important chapter, because this is the one that you have to read over and over and over again if you have problems in relationship type of thing. So give me a second here. Here we go. Sexual behavior, attitude towards children, chapter 18. Okay. This is one of the most significant pieces of work that he ever wrote. So that's going to be on page 74. So let's just go all the way down to page 74. I'll just roll the wheel again here. Gotta love those mice, the mouse. Oh, we passed it. Yes. Okay. So let's go over this first, because this is very important, because I want you to notice the change in these people post Scientology. Okay. So chapter 18, column P, sexual behavior, attitude towards children. Hang on one second, guys. I got to fix something. My heater is right. Oh, no. I don't even know what happened. All right. Here we go. All right. This column this is the column devoted to the second dynamic. That is sex. Okay. Relationships between a man and a woman and the production of children. Okay. This dynamic would normally be called sex. In Dianetics, one considers sex to be divided into 2 parts: the sexual act and the produce of sex, children. That's it. Any dynamic can be considered to be a flowing line of theta. The power of theta along any dynamic varies from individual to individual. Engrams can be considered to lie across the dynamics in such a way as to cause dispersion. So each individual dynamic, okay, that's dynamics 1 through 8. 1, self. 2, sex. 3, the group. 4, mankind. 5, animals, right? any non-human living beings. Okay. 6 is messed, matter, energy, space, and time. 7 is you as a spiritual being. And 8 is the infinity or God dynamic. Okay. So engrams are traumatic incidents, right, that are stored in your reactive mind. And those can be anywhere on those 8 dynamics. Okay. When the engrams are removed, the dispersion, which would allow the theta turning into N theta and the inhibition of the flow of free theta disappears, and the natural flow of free theta can begin again. So when you have all these traumatic incidents, you have to get rid of them. Okay. You have to clear these engrams so that you can be huge again, right? Free theta, just, your ability to disperse all this energy across the universe. Okay. Yes, Steph, Isaac Hayes was a Scientologist. I don't know what we're asking. One sees this dispersion and theta effect most markedly on the second dynamic. It is so clear that some psychotherapies in the past place the entire emphasis of our aberration on the second dynamic. So here's his little tip of the cap to Freud. Naturally, these psychotherapies were not very workable since they left out the other 7 dynamics and were indeed severely criticized by their contemporaries for not being sufficiently comprehensive. Okay, so now he's going to say Freud missed the whole shebang. Okay. Sex, however, is an excellent index of the position of the pre-clear on the tone scale. Now listen to how he dives into that. In the X, it is the excellence of this index which probably brought so much attention to the second dynamic. In this current culture, now mind you, he's writing this in 1951. In this current culture, sexual aberration is very high. Anything which is hidden and highly regulated in a culture will become aberrated. Okay. In the 50s, it was illegal to be gay. Right? People had to go to secret clubs and things like that. There is considerable confusion in the American and European cultures about sex. Since there was so much perversion and promiscuity and maltreatment of children, the erroneous conclusion was reached that the remedy for this lay in further regulation. Whereas in reality, it was the regulation which caused the derangement of the dynamic, right? So the puritanical culture itself is the reason why things are so fucked up. It will be noted in observing the behavior of human beings and on this chart of the tone scale. Sorry, guys. That promiscuity, perversion, sadism, and irregular practices fall far down the line. Free love falls also in this very low band. Since man is relatively monogamous, and since it is non-survival not to have a well-ordered system for the creation and upbringing of children. Sounding familiar to anybody? Anybody who's watching also my Project 2025 breakdown on Oh No America? Any of this sounding familiar? In the upbringing of children by families. A society which falls into this 1-1 band of the tone scale can be expected to abuse sex, to be promiscuous, to misuse and maltreat children, and to act, in short, much in the way current cultures are acting. It is of vital importance, if one wishes to stop immorality and the abuse of children, to de-aberrate this dynamic for the whole group of the society, to say nothing of individuals. At the highest messed point of the tone scale is 4.0. This is the very first version of the tone scale before 40.0, okay? One finds monogamy, constancy, a high enjoyment level of, and very moral reactions towards sex. But one also finds the sexual urge acting to create more than children. This is where things start getting wild. And so comes about a sublimation This is a very key word. To sublimate means to literally take one impulse or urge and transform that into a completely different impulse or urge. Okay. So if I am a woman and I want to be a boss lady, but society says I need to be in the kitchen with an apron on, I need to sublimate this urge to run the show into running my kitchen and make myself feel like I'm doing that thing that I actually have the urge to do. Okay. So it comes about a sublimation of sex into creative thought. At 3.5 on the tone scale, we have a high interest in the opposite sex. Constancy, but we do not have so great a sublimation. At 3.0 on the tone scale, we have some falling off in sexual interest, but we have an interest in procreation and children. At 2.5, we have some disinterest in procreation, not for any reason beyond a general failure to be interested in as much of anything. The sexual act can be adequately performed given the physical ability. At the band of 2.0, we begin to get disgust for sex, a revulsion towards sex, mostly when irregularly practiced. At the 1.5 band of the tone scale, we find sex appearing as rape. We find the sexual act being performed as punishment. Now, even though he wrote these things, guys, okay, this is a Scientology scripture. Nobody handled Danny Masterson. Not one person. At 1.1 on the tone scale, we enter the area of the most vicious reversal of the second dynamic. Here we have promiscuity, perversion, sadism, and irregular practices. We have no enjoyment of the sex act, but a hectic anxiety about it. The sex cannot be truly enjoyed, whether performed regularly or irregularly. Here is free love, easy marriage and quick divorce, and general sexual disaster. People at this level on the second dynamic are intensely dangerous in the society since aberration is contagious. A society which reaches this level is on its way out of history, as went the Greeks, as went the Romans, as goes modern European and American culture. Here is a flaming danger signal which must be heeded if a race is to go forward. Now, when he's referencing the Romans and the Greeks, he's of course talking about the sex orgies that they had back in the ancient times, and also the gay. The gay. At 0.5, we have impotency, which apparently he suffered from, and anxiety about sex, with only occasional efforts to procreate. Again, procreation, procreation, procreation. On the second dynamic, we get occasional resurgences from 0.5 up the scale, which quickly relapse. So every once in a while, one of these guys can just pretend to be uptone and then fall back. It's interesting to note here the application of the principle of the dwindling spiral to the second dynamic. On any of the dynamics and on any column of this chart, when the individual sinks below 2.0 level, the dwindling spiral rapidly carries him down through 1.5, 1.1, 0.5 to death. This is particularly evident on the second dynamic. The 1.1 individual engaged in frantic pseudo-sexual activity today will in very near tomorrow, much nearer than he suspects, find him or herself at the 0.5 level of impotency and anxiety. The organs of sex, because he can't say penis or vagina, the organs of sex at the 0.5 level become relatively useless. Indeed, the second dynamic tone scale is closely applicable to the endocrine activity of the individual and the form and condition of the physical body. The woman who in her teens was at the 1.1 level on the tone scale will not have well enough developed pelvic structure or endocrine system to permit her bearing children with ease. Difficult births are a normal result of too long a residence in a low band on the tone scale during the formative period of the body. Easy births can only be expected with women who are relatively high on the tone scale. Now, reading this, guys, at the time when I was really soaking this in and really like trying to understand these things, I had no plans to have kids. Well, I had sublimated my plans to have children into clearing the planet. I almost died in childbirth with my eldest son. So sometimes reading these words, even though it is obviously not true, right? There is a part of my brain where these things have forever been stamped, right? That I am, it's like a cave, right? That has been unexplored. And I'm just now bringing a flashlight in this cave and trying to see what's there, right? And also to write something like this during a time where women's mortality at birth was so incredibly high. Women were dying just all over the place. Our medical system had not kept up, especially in America. American women were dropping dead trying to give birth constantly. And to blame those women or to give their widows, oh, well, she must have been a terrible person in her youth. That's why she died in childbirth or whatever. Or she didn't just pop the baby out like a goddamn piece of toast and have no pain, is because she spent all this time, early on in her life. And so her organs didn't develop properly because she had a bad tone. That's, yeah. That's really fucked up. That is really fucked up. I haven't read I didn't read this prior to doing this. This is just, I haven't read this in 22 years, guys. There's a reason why I haven't. I need, I need a minute. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry. I needed to cry a little bit, and my wife came and gave me a big hug. So, yeah. Sorry. This is this is one of those things that is especially hard for me to like not I don't even know what to describe it with. Like, it just is one of those things where I feel like I mean, like, for the moms out there, anything that isn't perfect about your kids, I mean, even if you didn't grow up in a cult, I think that's universally true that anything that happens, we take on as something that we did wrong, as something that, that's the reason why whatever happened. Right. And, I tried so hard during my my first pregnancy to do all the things that I was supposed to do. I was walking, I was eating, I was taking all my vitamins, and everything seemed to be going fine. I was fat when I got pregnant. I was like 196 pounds when I had gotten pregnant, and I only gained 29 pounds, like during that. And it was an incredibly difficult birth. I tried to just do a natural childbirth because all this Scientology was still like in my head, and and I ended up having to be induced, and I wouldn't get an epidural for 54 hours, because I was determined to not have that affect my baby, and I ended up in an emergency C-section anyway, where I almost died. And and he's autistic, and I thought that that's like his whole life there's this nagging part of me that just sits there and says, that's just, you did that. If you would have done XYZ, and so when I read bullshit like this, it just like validates that part that was already indoctrinated into me so young and implanted inside of myself, because all of this is an effort to destroy women's creativity, women's livelihood, women's desire to do anything except you know, be a sex doll and pop babies out, you know. And yeah, I knew when I was a little kid that I liked girls, and I would constantly shove that down to the deepest corners of my being to just make it not true, you know. And I know science tells me that autism, ADHD, all these other things are most probably genetic. And my ex-husband is fucking autistic as shit, man. And I'm sure my grandpa was. I believe I have cousins, I've got uncles. It's like there's just fucking ADHD and shit rampant in my family, right? I didn't understand any of that. What I understood was I did something wrong. And, there's something that I could have done better, It's just like things like this are not written to help people. Telling women who survive childbirth, because it is a fucking ordeal, guys. Not just the birth act, which is like what people think of when you're having a baby, but surviving 9 months of growing a fucking other person inside of you and all of your organs being squished everywhere, and like the amount of like pain and just like everything that happens for that time period, the nausea, the throwing up, the fucking, you can't poop, you're pooping, you're peeing. It's just like to try and describe it, that 9 months of torture to anyone who's never gone through that is really impossible, because every woman experiences it to a greater or lesser degree, right? It's not all the same. Some women, I remember seeing this woman. She looked like a fit model. I was seeing her jogging from behind. She was wearing nothing but a sports bra and spandex shorts. And she was running, and then all of a sudden she turned, and this bitch was like 8 months pregnant. She just had the little belly. She was just belly, and she's literally running into, of course, a Whole Foods. And I thought, that was never my experience while I was pregnant. Okay. To just be like, you know what I feel like doing today? Donning a sports bra and spandex shorts and taking a jog with a human inside of me. Like, that was not something that popped up in my brain as even an impulse. This woman has clearly been doing this her entire pregnancy. So I'm sorry, guys, but this sentence is like, I mean, not only is it a lie, it is literally just like, yeah. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just blowing my nose all over you. I apologize. Okay. It is noteworthy that the 1-1 to 0.5 area of the tone scale finds the muscles, particularly the sexual muscles, without tonus. The nymphomaniac and the satyr are extremely slack-muscled, and the tonus around 0.5 is almost non-existent. In the pretended death band, there is, of course, no effort to procreate. Along the -1 band, where the organism is dead, but the cells still survive, is also interesting that ejaculation and sexual activity occasionally take place immediately after death of the individual, which gives some index of the strength and force of this dynamic. Like, he observed one time a dead body. Yeah, dead bodies do all of that stuff. They poop, they pee. It's yeah, it's ridiculous. Life is defined in cytology, that's the study of cells, is an unending stream of protoplasm from the beginning of life itself until now, down through the ages as a continuous genetic stream. This protoplasm is modified by natural selection and environmental conditioning, as well as by what seems to be outright planning from generation to generation. Because life is so dependent upon this lifeline, it's very easy to place too great an emphasis upon the sexual act, the thing which keeps this lifeline in a continuous stream. The second part of this dynamic concerns itself with children, the product of sex. There's a gradient reaction toward children from the top to the bottom of the tone scale, which the auditor can use in order to place this preclear properly on the chart. So if you have somebody who's just like, maybe they don't ever want to have kids, which is totally okay, right? But that means that you're low toned. That means you're a bad person. At 4.0, there's an intense interest in children. Like, that does not sound good, which extends to both the mental and physical well-being of the children and the society in which these children will live. Having an intense interest in children is also bad. It just sounds bad. Here are efforts to add to the culture so that children will have a better chance for survival. Okay. At 3.5, we have a love of children, a care of them, and understanding of them. 3, we have an interest in children. We have a tolerance of children at 2.5, but not a great interest in their affairs. We have a nagging and nervousness about children at 2.0. At 1.5, we enter the band of brutal treatment of children, heavy corporal punishment, the forcing of the child into a mold with pain, breaking his dramatizations, upsets about his noise or clutter. That is what Scientology does to all of its kids. At 1.1 on the tone scale, there may be 2 reactions to children. There may be an actual and immediate desire for children as manifested as a manifestation of sex, but we also have the use of children for sadistic purposes. And we may find both of these in the same individual. We have a long-term general neglect of children with an occasional sporadic interest in them. We have very little thought for the child's future or the culture in which the child will grow up. At 0.5, we have a mainly an anxiety about children, fear that they will be hurt, fear of this and fear of that concerning children, and a hopelessness about their future. I tell you what, I feel that right now. There's a lot of shit happening right now. I mean, we got aliens, we got all this. I mean, who knows, you know? Earthquakes are happening everywhere, apparently. Oregon and Washington and half of California are falling into the ocean. The big one's coming. I don't know, you know? Shit. At 1.1, a mother will attempt the abortion of her child. This right here, this passage, y'all, is where they tell people we don't do abortions. Yet, how many women in the Sea Organization were forced to have an abortion? Any woman who will abort a child, save only if the child threatens her physical life rather than her reputation, lies in the 1.1 bracket or below. She can be expected to be unreliable, inconsistent, and promiscuous. And the child is looked upon as evidence of this promiscuity. So only a loose woman, y'all, would ever want or need to have an abortion of any kind. Now, this is 1951. Even L. Ron gives an exception in the health of the mother there. How progressive. How progressive of him. At 0.5, we have abortion with the specious reasoning that the world or the future is too horrible to bring a child into. With the parent at 0.5, the natural gaiety and happiness of the child will be suppressed, and we have an unhealthy atmosphere for childhood as one could postulate. It's like worst case scenario. At 0.1, there's not even an awareness of children. It is notable as one glances down this column that the interest in children includes an interest not only in the bearing of the child, but in the child's well-being, happiness, mental state, education, and general future. We may have a person on the 1-1 level who seems very anxious to produce a child. Very possibly this person is following an engram command to have children. Once the child is born, we may have in this 1-1 bracket an interest in it as a plaything or a curiosity, but following this, we get a general neglect and thoughtlessness about the child and no feeling whatsoever about the child's future or any effort to build one for it. We get careless familial actions such as promiscuity, which will tear to pieces the family security upon which the child's future depends. Along the span, the child is considered a thing, a possession. A half tone above this, in the anger band, the child is the target for the dramatizations which the individual does not dare execute against grown-ups in the environment. A last-ditch effort to be in command of something. Here we have domination of the child with a constant warping of its character. So I would say that that sentence, that paragraph there about the half tone above would encompass what the average Scientology kid, whether they grew up in the Sea organization or in a Scientology family, experienced. And the way it is just so casually written here, it's just kind of mind-blowing, actually, guys. It's that yeah. Hi, love.
Hi. Did you call it?
What?
Did you just call it?
I'm gonna just finish. Oh,
Why?
hang on 1 second, guys. Okay. Thank you guys for holding some space and everything for me. I appreciate that. My wife has given me something to squeeze. It's like it's a plushy gator. I need to get another like thing to. My wife is a good lady and she takes care of me. I have a gross pile of snotty Kleenexes here on my desk, which I'm going to clean up and hopefully. Okay, good. I'm just checking my Kleenex box to make sure that I have enough. All right. Let's finish up this bullshit here. Because this is, see, we're right at the end. So we're gonna finish it here. All right. The whole future of the race depends on its attitude towards children. And a race which specializes in women for menial purposes, or which believes that the contest of the sexes in the spheres of business and politics is a worthier endeavor than the creation of tomorrow's generation, is a race which is dying. We have in the woman who is an ambitious rival of the man in his own activities, a woman who is neglecting the most important mission she may have. A society which looks down upon this mission, in which women are taught anything but the management of a family, the care of men, and the creation of the future generation, is a society which is on its way out. The historian can peg the point where a society begins its sharpest decline at the instant when women begin to take part on an equal footing with men in political and business affairs, since this means that the men are decadent and the women are no longer women. This is not a sermon on the role or position of women. It is a statement of bald and basic fact. When children become unimportant to a society, that society has forfeited its future. Even beyond the fathering and bearing and rearing of children, a human being does not seem to be complete without a relationship with a member of the opposite sex. This relationship is the vessel wherein is nurtured the life force of both individuals, whereby they create the future of the race in body and thought. If man is to rise to greater heights, then woman must rise with him or even before him. But she must rise as a woman, and not today as she is being misled into rising as a man. It is the hideous joke of frustrated, unvirile men to make women over into the travesty of men which they themselves have become. Men are difficult and troublesome creatures, but valuable. The creative care and handling of men is an artful and beautiful task. Those who would cheat women of their rightful place by making them into men should at last realize that by this action they are destroying not only women, but the men and children as well. This is too great a price to pay for being modern or someone's petty anger spite against the female sex. The arts and skills of a woman, the creation and inspiration of which she is capable, and which here and there, in isolated places in our culture, she still manages to effect in spite of the ruin and decay of man's world, which spreads around her, must be brought newly and fully into life. These arts and skills and creation and inspiration are her beauty, just as she is the beauty of mankind. Okay, so this chapter is really difficult for me because it pushes a lot of my my flaws, my buttons. When in 1996, in September of 1996, when the new edict came down that Sea Org members could no longer have children and then go on like a 10-year garrison mission to a regular org and raise that kid until they were 10, I almost left the Sea Org right then. I was given a 24-hour, time period to make a decision on if I was going to stay or not, because, a lot of things had happened to me in like basically a year and a half of being in the Sea Org. I had a very rough go of it at the beginning. My father passed away in October of 1995 of a sudden massive coronary. I became extremely suicidal at that time, which they told me I wasn't. That was all in my head. I couldn't say those things, etc. I went to Flag to do my training because I think they just wanted me to get off the base for a while. And they didn't realize the importance of this training program that I was getting sent to because it was confidential. It was like, it's a brand new thing and we need you to send these people. So they didn't really know. And then when I came back from that, we were all declared by David Miscavige to be perfect, which, like no pressure, just be perfect in Scientology. And if within, I want to say a month and a half of us coming back, I ran away. I skipped town. And I was, hunted and brought back. And I spent 3 months doing hard labor at Celebrity Center, getting daily confessionals, all this programming, reading tons of millions of references, blah, 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 blah. And then the day after I finished that program and was like, yay, I'm going to stay in the Sea Org. Everything's great. That order came down in September. And Grace Kevitt, who was the Hubbard area, HCO area secretary, Hubbard Communications Office area secretary. So she was in charge of Division 1, who had been my old boss when I was the recruiter, took me aside and slammed this goldenrod down in front of me and said, you have 24 hours to give me your answer. And I read this goldenrod and it said in no uncertain terms that, Sea Org members were not allowed to give birth to any more children. And if you did want to have kids, you needed to leave right now. You were like basically given a free pass to leave the Sea Org. That chapter, every time I read that chapter after, which I read many times, I had to word clear people on that chapter. I had to read it word for word with people over and over and over. And as a Sea Org member, the idea that you wanted to have kids, now was evil, was now a very bad thing. Although the chapter tells you that if you don't want kids and you think that they're, having them is unimportant, that makes you a bad person. So it was like living in this bizarro world where as a child, I knew I had always had that idea that I wanted to have kids. But then you have to like twist your brain and reprogram it and then be like, but Elron says that this is the most important thing and you're telling me I can't do it because being here is more important, and none of that makes any sense, And anytime that you have the impulse to want to have kids or have a different life or whatever, you're made to read this chapter in particular because of the sublimation aspect, right? Because they want you to understand that that impulse that you're having is not necessarily a bad impulse, but that you have to take that intention and twist it to fit the scenario that you're in right now with your job in Scientology, right? So you cannot do the thing that Ron is saying to do, right? You know, and you have to decide that Elron is still right. This is the best, the most important thing that a woman can do. However, I'm a Sea Org member. I'm not really a woman, right? And then what the fuck does that mean? You know? Because I'm OT, I can just change my mind. I can just move my impulse from, you know, my natural human inclination to something else, to clearing the planet, to helping all mankind, you know, because how selfish of me to want to go have a kid when all these other children are out there that need Scientology. You know, it's just like, oh, I'm going to knock myself out blowing my nose. So let's get back to these TikTokers here. Okay. We're going to, now I want you to listen to this video, okay, of them talking with this chapter in mind, okay, because that's what all this boils down to. This conflict, this upset, this like storm in my brain right now is what Scientology does to people. This is the product of Scientology that I still live with daily. And there's nothing positive about that. You know? So yeah. Let's look at their YouTube video again. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107, the Copyright Act of 1976 allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All rights and credit go directly to the rightful owners, in this case, the Valinskys. No copyright infringement is intended. So the title of their video here is This Almost Destroyed Us. Couple Shit, episode 4. Okay, so let me just make this bigger. This is from 5 months ago. Okay, so here's what happened. This is them telling the story of what happened after she gave birth to their son. Okay. Here we go.
Here's what we're talking about couple shit.
Yeah, man, we'll try to keep it raw, keep out of the bullshit, let you know we've been through.
See, like, look at his face and stuff. I mean, it's like he looks like a totally different person. I'm also going to speed this up a little bit here.
Lots of drama, struggles, all that, and we're not going to sit here and just sugarcoat a relationship for you like everybody else fucking does on the internet.
Now, I love that. And here's one of the things that is coming to the surface, I feel, in society in general, in our society, is the abundance of women turning into men and taking on the man role, right? And then men taking on the female role. Now,
this doesn't mean they're changing their sex.
No, I'm not talking about that.
With the surgeries, we're not talking about that.
We're not talking about that.
So right off the bat, she is literally like men taking on the women role, whatever the fuck that means, and women taking on the men role. Oh, but let's be clear, we're not talking about trannies. Watch out. Not talking about that.
Just so we're
Talking
clear.
about women being in their masculine and men being in their feminine.
Okay. Women being in their masculine, that's not a full sentence, and men being in their feminine. Everyone has masculine and feminine characteristics. We all also have estrogen and testosterone, everybody. So yeah, that makes sense.
Now, there's many different reasons for this, but we wanted to come on here today and tell you guys our story of how this happened in our relationship and how it affected our relationship and how we are now healing from it and coming out of it.
Yeah.
They're healing from this.
Yes. So it's like this very big, what we were switched, and now we're at this process where we're going back to normal again. And it's
And
definitely
normal is a
thing.
weird word, but
Like, and do you guys hear the difference in the tenor of his voice? I just for demonstration purposes, listen to him here.
We do it.
yeah.
Be like this huge surge of energy that I just get to like exert.
Right?
Like just going off like as a bomb every 5 seconds. And
Yeah.
It's like,
Now, listen to his voice here.
Just so you
Yeah, I
guys,
guess it's a good point, because what is normal? Let's explain that while we're doing this. What should be normal?
Well-
We're going back into what should be regular in a
yeah,
relationship.
and everyone's got
Right? Do you guys hear the difference? Hi, Laura. Right? Do you hear the difference in his voice? Now he's all like, but. And she has a much higher pitch to her voice. She's got the super long nails, like all these things that society has decided is feminine, right?
got different relationship, different like opinions, viewpoints, but we are coming from a very basic place of like what woman is meant to do and what man is meant to do per, let's say, the Bible.
See, because they don't want to say that they're Scientologists on here. So let's just say per the Bible, because we want to relate to all of you Christians out there. Okay? We're just like you guys. We believe in man and woman like the Bible.
Per
For the original definition of man and woman and their responsibilities.
right.
This is why I read that whole very hard for me to read chapter. Man and woman and their responsibilities. Okay?
Not adding any kind of changes or aberrations, which society has
Aberrations.
done over countless centuries and situations and internet and whatever else that we've come up with to just completely change and fuck up the entire thing.
Right?
Right. So one of my big things is like, well, let's just tell the story. Let's tell the story of how this came about. So we're gonna rewind to about 3.5 years ago. Okay, we had our son almost 5 years ago, and
He's 4.5 now.
yeah, he's 4.5. When he was born, I had really bad postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, and I was suicidal for a year.
Notice how he's touching his bracelet, which when he moves his hand, I'm going to see if that's a clear bracelet or not. The fact that she's using those words, very dangerous for Scientologists. Very dangerous.
A little longer after he was born.
And that is a clear bracelet, ladies and gentlemen. That right there, that is a clear bracelet. He is clear, and he is rocking his clear bracelet while he's getting very anxious about her talking about being actually suicidal and depressed. Okay? You see him petting it? Watch him keep petting his clear bracelet throughout this interview.
Looking back,
The reason why I know that's for sure a clear bracelet is because I had the same one.
I see now that I just refuse to step into the role of being a mom. I refuse to be a woman. I refuse to not be productive.
I refused to step into the role of being a mom. Why? Because she had overwhelming hormones that with proper, nutrition and medication can get balanced out, but this is all on her. She's refusing to do this stuff.
I refuse to not make money. I refuse to just calm down, relax, and take on my role as a woman because
Okay, so she went back to work because she was the breadwinner. She was making that TikTok fucking money.
and a mom because that felt like anti-survival. I had been
Anti-survival.
Taught by whatever that I needed to make money to be valuable.
It's called capitalism. That's what you got taught by Claude.
That the only thing that, mattered in the world was that I was making money. For example, you
took on a man's role, and that's
You took on a man's role.
mostly what you did to survive. And then coming into a motherly role, you have to be the ultimate female.
Yeah.
And basically,
Coming into a motherly role, you have to be the ultimate female. This is why I went through that whole torture session reading that chapter, guys, because I want you to understand where these two people got these ideas. They didn't just make this shit up, okay? This is where they got these ideas.
basically stopping anything that, was supposed to be was causing this huge fucking problem.
Yeah, because I'm literally being asked to now survive in a different way when survival to me for 38 years was a certain thing.
Okay, before she had her baby, she was surviving, which means she had to make, but there's no way for a woman who's not married to survive in the world without making money. We don't just get like a paycheck to exist. Like, hey, ladies, because you're alive and you have a womb, here's, 10 grand a month just to get on by until you pop a baby out. And then you better have a man with you to take care of you and that baby. Like, what fucking society does that? None.
It was work, hustle, make money, like be the breadwinner. That was what survival meant to me. So now you're asking me to not do those things. You're asking
Right. So she was making more money than him. Okay. Let's just be clear.
me to be a mom. And not just that, but I grew up in an environment where that was disrespected on. Women were disrespected on, there was no value in just being a woman and being a mom.
Right. Because women have that as your lot in life. You can be just a woman and just a mom. That's it.
It was looked down on. And so I didn't want to be that. I remember fighting it so hard. Like, I'm not going to be like every other mom, like pushing my baby in my stroller and not working and going to the park. I'm going to be.
Because here's the problem is then you can create this divide, right? Between the stay-at-home mom. I was a stay-at-home mom for many years. I fucking loved that. But also, I had that shit implanted inside of me. Like when I met my ex-husband, I told him, I just want to be a stay-at-home mom. And he was like, okay, cool beans. It was so ingrained in me that was my job that I gave up every other dream that I had. Not that time, etc., with my kids wasn't totally valuable and I loved it. But also society either wants women to do 25 things at once and be the perfect stay-at-home mom and a fuck me doll and all these other things. Or we're just supposed to stay at home and keep our mouths shut and keep our bodies right and tight so that our man wants to fuck only us. Right?
So working mom. Like, it was deeply ingrained in my veins.
And to be fair, like before Nova, she being like this, there was no issues. I had a job, she had a job, we were making money.
Okay. So before you guys had a kid, you were totally cool beans with her working. So what the fuck does a kid mean?
There was no paths crossed in this area that we ever had to really cross. Like, there was nothing. Like, everything was fine. The relationship was fine. The home life was fine. Money was fine. Like, everything was good.
Yep.
There was no, internal, external issue until Nova was born.
Well, it started when I was pregnant, because when I was pregnant, I started to feel, because I couldn't work. Like, we were both professional dancers and choreographers. Yeah, I could have worked and, continued, but...
Keep the baby safe, keep the situation, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Some people have a difficult pregnancy. I had to quit my job when I was 2 months pregnant because I spent all day in the bathroom at my work throwing up. I was still getting all my work done. And then I would spend the rest of the day just laying on this fucking, office building bathroom floor because it was cool and it made me feel better. Or I would go to my car and nap, because I felt so physically bad.
First child, and then it's COVID happened. So we're in a lot of situations here where it's what are you going to do? You're pregnant, just chill. I was working I was working a lot, so it's fine.
And I remember having the thought of I feel so useless right now. Mind you, I'm growing a baby in my stomach. That is...
Yes, that's very hard. But wait, what is it?
The most useful job on this planet.
Growing a baby in your stomach first of all, it's not your stomach, Claudia. It's in your uterus. Second of all, that is the most. I have to rewind this nonsense, please.
And then it's like COVID happened, so we're in a lot of situations here where it's like, what are you gonna do? You're pregnant, just chill. Like I was working I was working a lot, so it's fun.
And I remember having the thought of like, I feel so useless right now. Mind you, I'm growing a baby in my stomach. That is the most useful job on this planet.
Growing a baby in your stomach is the most useful job on this planet. This is what Scientologists are telling people now. Hey, Danny, you should go get checked out, honey. You should go get a follow-up if you're having that symptom. Please go get yourself checked out, okay? I'm sending you so much love right now. Yeah.
But the masculinity part of you before would make you feel like you're useless because you can't do any of those things that you're supposed to masculinity-wise.
The masculinity part of you. So having aspirations, having goals, wanting to make money, wanting to be successful is masculinity.
Oh, I can't work. Like I'm supposed to sit on the couch and chill. And like I just was not conditioned to behave this way. When my dad would call me, asking me, to say hi or whatever. I moved away from home when I was 20 to pursue a dance career.
Okay, that's normal.
And when my dad would call me to talk to me, it was, are you making any money? Are you working? Are you happy? Are you healthy? Are you living a life that you're proud of? Those.
First of all, if you come from any form of immigrant family, like I did, the work ethic is instilled in you at a very early age. They want to know that you have like 7 jobs, okay? Like at all times, okay? That is a measure of happiness and success for some people.
Those questions weren't asked. It was, are you making money?
Right, because in a man's world, like if a daughter is by herself, he wants to really know, are you safe?
Right.
No. Her dad, right, wanted to know that he didn't have to take care of her. Okay? Because he didn't think her dance career was going to be successful. Let's be honest. He's like, oh, you're leaving the house to go dance? You're going to be fucking dancing in a bar. You're not going to have a life. Like he wanted to make sure that his thoughts on her being successful weren't, the right ones. That, this wasn't, yeah.
And to him, those things keep you safe. You have a house, are you making money, you're working, like stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, those things do keep every human safe. Do you have a shelter? Can you pay your bills? Can you feed yourself? That's how you're safe.
And a mother should come in and go, how are you feeling?
Right.
And nurture all those things.
And my mom did. Like she would always tell me like, it's going to be fine. Are you making money?
Right. Because in a man's world, like if a daughter is by herself, he wants to really know, are you safe?
Right.
And to him, those things keep you safe. You have a house, are you making money, you're working, like stuff like that.
Right.
Whereas a mother should come in and go, how are you feeling?
Right.
And nurture all those things.
And my mom did. Like she would always tell me like, it's going to be fine. How are you doing? She was never worried if I was working or was making money. My mom always knew everything was going to be okay, which I really.
My mom because she believed in you as a dancer. Not because it was like some woman bond.
Respect and admire about her. Even like when my dad would lose his jobs, he didn't lose that many jobs. He lost one job. My mom was like, I didn't even worry for 1 second. I knew he
So your mom's Pollyanna. She's very positive.
was going to find something else because he's so smart and capable. I was like, wow, that's huge to have that kind of confidence and trust in me and in him. So my mom did have that, but my whole life I was a daddy's girl. He was.
Welcome to being an North American woman.
The winner in my eyes. I admired him. I loved him. I wanted to be like him.
Same.
And so he felt like the more powerful being in the, and so I wanted to feel like that. And I wanted to play sports like guys. I was in a band full.
Yeah, I don't want to play sports, ladies. Gross. That's for boys.
With guys, I
wanted to be in a band with men. Ew.
Sang a very male-dominated genre of music, which is post like metalcore. I was a screamer for.
I wanted to be in a metal band. That's for men.
For a band, like I always wanted to do dude shit.
Dude shit. Like sit with my legs apart, man spread. Dude shit. That stuff seems like fun. Dude shit.
So then I'm pregnant. It's like the most non-dude shit. And
Being pregnant, y'all, is the most non-dude shit.
remember, I would always say, like, you're going to be the best mom and I'm going to be the best dad. Remember?
Why would you say that? You'd say to your husband, you're going to be the best mom and I'm going to be the best dad. First of all, that sounds like a you problem, honey. That sounds like a you problem, that you thought your husband was going to be a mom and that you were going to be a daddy. Because you wanted to do like the dude stuff. You just wanted to, not wake up at 2 a.m. to do feedings. You want to do like fucking, you want to sleep in when the kids are cranky. You didn't want to cook food and shit. Like, that's a dad role. No, that's just fucking lazy role.
Yep. But it's funny because I grew up with all women. So I have
4 sisters.
4 sisters.
So I had 4 sisters and they made me a girl, guys.
My mom, and then my dad was always at work, and then however home life, and that's another story about how that went down. But the point is I was always really, really good with being around women and comfortable.
I'm a ladies' man. Look at me.
Which I think too is a lot of the reasons why a lot of men are mama's boys, because what happened with her and her dad is what a lot of men do with women, and they attack.
No, men are mama's boys because they just fucking are. Both of mine are mama's boys. Even the baby, mama's boys. Like, that is just a man thing. It's a natural bond that for whatever reason, happens. Also, children are naturally bonded with their mother. That just happens, whether you're girls or boys.
Attach themselves to their mom. And then when they grow up, they realize they can't do that anymore. And then you've got this little baby back bitch of a man.
First of all, Rachel, I wanted to pee standing up when I was a kid, and I used to until I was about 10 years old. Yeah, because I thought that's the more convenient way to pee, and it actually is. So. I'm
sitting there going,
we're not going to say bitch anymore because,
Why?
Well, it insinuates that a bitch, which is a female horse, is something. A female dog is weak.
A female dog is weak.
Just like, don't be a pussy. No, be a pussy, because that's the
Yeah, but the
strongest
pussy
thing on
comes
this
from
planet.
pusillanimous or whatever that word is, not from the actual pussy. So I don't know how to fucking pronounce it, but if you Google it, you find out pusillanimous or something, and that literally means weak. So like that's where it comes from, pussy, just so we're clear, ladies and everybody.
You don't have the balls. Balls are weak. Like, you just flick them and it's like, oh my God, oh my balls.
Yeah, but things are sayings and metaphors. They're not necessarily
Doesn't make sense.
based
The metaphor doesn't make sense. It is implying that balls are strong, that there is some kind of strength in a ball
you'd probably
sack.
fucking go down if I had a good bean flick.
No, no.
You never know.
No, a baby came out of there.
Yeah, but before that.
A baby came out of there beating it. It doesn't matter.
Well, listen.
See, now they forgot that they were supposed to be doing this whole hyper masculine thing, and she just emasculated him again. Talk about how he'd go down with a bean flick on his balls.
Maybe it hurts to break a nail. I don't know.
This is
never
had
had conversation.
Maybe it hurts to break a nail. I don't know. Bro, if you cracked your fingernail right in the middle and that shit just broke off, I promise you're crying for a week.
The change starts here.
The point is I grew up like with women, so it was easier for me to understand all that, and like I didn't have a problem around kids and babies and things. Like I love kids and I was used to it. So
because he's a nice guy, there was something wrong with him.
Whereas she wasn't. She's got this like, I'm on my own, spirit adventure thing. She's just living her life, the way she wants to. So it was just kind of something that we understood, was that it just kind of made sense that I would be like that and she would be like that.
So they had a healthy parenting style based on their personalities and lived experience where because she was successful and probably making more money with him. Well, thank you, Gnome Roamer, for subbing. I appreciate you. And he had all this experience around women, which made him soft and kind and cuddly, that he would take on a larger nurturing role. Okay, this is called having a healthy family dynamic and kind of assigning things to people based on their strengths. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, forcing someone into a role. Look at her face here, guys. Look at her face. Forcing someone into a role that they are uncomfortable with, that they are not good at, is not healthy for them and not healthy for the child.
Cut to it actually going down and her having the situation, the problem that she was in, that she went through. I literally
Yeah, like he's not saying it, guys. He's not saying postpartum depression because Tom Cruise is going to come for him. Tom Cruise is going to jump out of their couch and tell them that that's not a real thing.
Postpartum, I literally had to step up and be the mom because she wanted to kill herself. And so it was Operation Keep Wife Alive.
Yeah, this is a very serious mental health crisis that this woman went through. This happens all the time after people give birth. It happened to me after I gave birth with my oldest son. I, too, like Tom Cruise, did not believe in postpartum depression, y'all. Okay? True story time. So here I am. Okay? It is now like 3 weeks post giving birth to my oldest son. For the first time in 3 weeks, I am completely alone. Just nobody's home. Okay. Everybody's out of the house. Now, I lived with my parents at the time. My husband left to go back to work. Okay. And my mom and dad were both gone. So I'm all alone with my beautiful baby. And we're napping. And we had just gotten up. I just fed him. And I was like cradling him. And I'm just looking at him, just loving him, just thinking this is the best thing I fucking ever happened in my life. And I said, I looked at him and I was like, I love you so much, buddy. And he just was like, pfft. Like he literally like scoffed and looked away. And I started crying. I mean, like uncontrollably bawling, just like, my baby hates me. Like, and I just started having like this whole freak out. In the middle of this freak out, there was no, I couldn't, like, I'm holding him. I'm just like, why do you love me? You know, like having this freak out. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is postpartum depression. Like that shit's real. Oh shit. Right. And so then I was like, well, what am I going to do? Right. Cause I couldn't talk to my mom, who was a devout Scientologist at the time. Like she was working for Narconon. And I was too scared to talk to my husband about it because, you know, he, as far as I knew, was still a believer, you know. And so I started Googling stuff. I just started Googling about how it happens, what can happen, the rate of it, how long it can last, things I could do to help it, you know, and things like that. But just knowing that I had postpartum depression helped ease it because I knew what was happening. And I thought, oh, they're totally wrong about that, you know. But just look in this conversation about how he keeps trying to redirect her away from talking about that, right? Like she's pissed. She's legit pissed that she has to pretend that did not happen for her as a result of having a baby. Notice there's no clear bracelet on her. Okay. So they got into Scientology and he zoomed up the bridge and now she's being made to do all this other stuff, right? Which isn't totally jiving with her. I don't predict this is going to last very long here.
And then keep baby this. I mean, she did amazing things. And Nova is amazing because of her still. And she is a gangster for fighting through the entire thing. But in the switch, it was like, I had to become something. Somebody had to mom it up, right?
No, that's just called being a dad. Like caring for your own motherfucking child is called parenting. You weren't being the mom. You were being your child's father. What you did was become the primary parent while your wife was healing. Look at her face while he's saying this stuff.
Right? So I was like the candidate. And then once that happened, it started to move into like, oh, this is okay. And then the dynamics started to just get.
So because he was primary parenting and she was working like to cure her own depression, which a lot of women do, they throw themselves into work. Now it created this rift between them because I should be working. I'm the man. I should be making money, not you, you whore. Get back in this kitchen and take care of this child.
Deeper ingrained into I'm being mom and her pushing into the masculine because that.
I'd love to know who paid for all of his auditing to go clear. Was it her and her choreography and fucking TikTok dancing? I think it probably was.
Allowed her to feel safe. And then the only thing that was good for her at that time was to feel safe. And that's what we wanted.
But it got really bad when I started my online business from home. And Nova at this point was a year old. So a year had gone by. I started direct sales business. And
So she's doing online entrepreneurship.
Noah's still like in the entertainment industry trying to dance or act. So when you're in that world, you don't necessarily have a job every day. You show up when there's an audition.
And I'm auditioning online, so it's like I'm home.
Right. So I knew that I had to put some time in towards building this business.
Right, because he didn't have consistent work. They're letting us know that he was just dancing. He didn't go work at Kinko's, right? He didn't go get a 9-to-5 somewhere.
And I remember I was like, I'm going to need you to watch Nova in the morning for a couple hours while I work and like do shit towards my business.
No, it's called parent. I'm so tired of this discussion where you're in a heterosexual relationship and you have to beg your husband to do parenting. It's parenting. Okay? It's not a chore. It's parenting. You know what discussion my wife and I never have? Is that. Okay? If my wife wants to do something, right? And she's like, hey, I'd like to go, blah, blah, blah. I just say, sure, I'll stay here with the dogs and the kids. It's not like, I need you to watch so-and-so so that I can go conquest the universe. Like, this is just called not having a healthy relationship.
2 hours turned into 4 hours, turned into him having to like feed Nova his lunch, put him down for...
Feed your child food. Put your own child down for a nap.
For his nap. He would go grocery shopping. He would...
A man went grocery shopping. Call the press.
Clean. So basically he...
Oh my God, he cooked and cleaned. He cooked and cleaned in his own home. Oh my God.
He took on, and some of you may get offended by this, but those are motherly roles.
Those are motherly roles, guys. Those are motherly roles, to cook and clean and go grocery shopping and feed the child and put them down for a nap. That's the motherly role.
Those are a wife's role to do that.
It's a wife's role to do that.
The man is built to provide.
The man is built to provide.
Man is built to go out and hunt. And here's...
Man is built to go out and hunt. Honey, explain to me the entire island of Lesbos and the fucking Amazonians. Okay, because I know that's like a Wonder Woman thing, but like literally there are places where it's just a completely matriarchal society and women do all of this shit. Can you explain that? Can you explain that, Lucy? No, you can't.
Here's an example of why you cannot fight me on this.
Because
Don't fight her, guys.
something to say about that thing you just said, which is awesome too. So go ahead.
Because if 5 guys come walking up to my house right now with guns, do you think I'm going to run out there with my gun and go, hey, babe, don't worry, I got this?
Yeah, that's exactly what I would do. If I had a gun and 5 guys walked up to my house with guns, I'd already be pop, 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 pop. Okay, we're good. Fuck those guys. That's called survival, dumbass. That's called survival. I'm not going to go turn to my ex-husband and be like, babe, there's guys with guns. Do something. Like, no, I got fucking kids to protect. Somebody's coming at my house with armed shit. Fuck you. You're dead now. I'm not looking to anybody but myself to handle that situation.
Some of you like gun-toting women out there, I'll be like, yeah, but it's fucking pretty masculine. That's
masculine.
That's masculine. Guys, it's masculine because I'd be like, I'm protecting my children. No, that's called a mother's instinct, dumbasses. How do you think women have lifted fucking cars off of their children that they've been trapped under? How do you think women have literally run into burning buildings and got all their fucking kids out while they're self-immolating and saving people? That's the power of being a mom. Like, fuck you.
Good for
I
you.
can protect myself. I do learn how to shoot a gun. I have trained jujitsu self-development. I can, if need be, like when he leaves, okay, I will protect my son.
Yeah.
We bought her a gun.
Do
She's
I
got a
want to and should
She has a gun. They want to get that out there. They've got guns.
I, as the woman of the relationship, no. That I'm going to be like, babe, you got this. Same.
Yeah, just go sacrifice your husband to the 5 guys with guns. That's a smart plan.
If you were to, would you drop off your kid at a daycare run by a bunch of dudes?
I love that. I would never.
Would you drop off your kid at a daycare run by a bunch of dudes? I don't know. It depends on the dudes. I don't trust creepadoodle women who want to do that either. There's creeps on both sides, guys.
Never.
What's his name said it?
Who's, yeah. Jordan Peterson?
Oh, Jordan Peterson. Of course. Of course.
No. I always forget his name. I want to give him credit. I forget his name. He's very popular, and he talks about a lot of these roles, women's
Nick
roles. And
Fuentes?
he said, he's like, would you trust your kids at a daycare run by 10 dudes? And the answer is
By 10 dudes. I don't know why we can't trust children with men. Why do you even trust your husband then? Why do you even trust your husband?
no. And you also wouldn't be like, hey, women, and 10 of them, go defend those 10 gunslingers out there. So if that doesn't make sense, then you have to take it back all the way back to the basic of like, what are we here to actually do? Which is to breathe life into men.
We're here to breathe life into men.
Support them so that they can excel to their biggest role. Because without us, they cannot.
Men are shit on their own. They're just empty sacks of dipshit. And if they don't have a woman breathing life, literal life into them, they will perish. That sounds like they're the weaker sex here. I'm sorry.
It's the truth. Like, we can get really fucking far. But you look at any story in history, and there's always a smart, capable woman right behind that man who is
Right behind that man. Yeah. Who he stole all the ideas from and then gives her nothing in the divorce. Yeah. When he marries a 10-year-old. Yeah.
successful. We can reach heights by ourselves that like you couldn't even imagine. But the heights that we could reach with another woman, especially a smart, capable woman.
No, with a woman, not with another woman. Now you're getting into polygamy, sir. This is
Well, one that
It's
has
like-
confidence in you, one that trusts
Correct,
you, one
yeah.
that
right. You gotta have trust.
believes in you.
That is doing all that.
And we are the nurturers. Like,
Yeah.
Women are nurturers, guys.
She's supposed to do. Like, we literally, I could sit here and go to war and kill, I don't know how many people and come back and like a woman's touch is going to make me feel better.
No, it's not, sir. Especially when a lot of those people you killed are women and children. Clearly, you have never been to war. Do not speak on behalf of veterans, you fucking arrogant prick. Okay? Don't ever do that. Don't anyone ever do that. Compare your life or try to imagine the mindset of someone who's engaged in active combat ever. Also, PTSD. If PTSD were cured by a woman's touch, I can promise you, after being in a lesbian relationship now for 8 years, I would be cured. Okay?
Like, I don't give a fuck what other man is out there that says that now I haven't been to war, I haven't killed anybody or anything like that. But I
Yeah, so shut the fuck up.
swear to God, I'll still stand by the statement. Anything can happen to me or my life. And I'd come back and my wife would put her hand on me and I'd be like, for that second, I'd be okay. Like,
Yeah, that's called being vulnerable and allowing yourself to be held and to be loved by someone else. That is a natural like reaction to being loved. Right? But to assign it this masculine feminine thing is just fucking stupid.
and
that's
women
power.
feel a lot better. And we can relax into our feminine if the man is fucking doing his job and going out there and providing.
We can relax into our feminine, guys. To relax into your feminine.
Keeping the house safe, providing the home. Like, that's when we can really relax and be like, he's got this. There's a reason.
Okay. I can't watch another 25 minutes of these guys, but you get the point. I just wanted to show you, okay, where Scientology takes a logical, capable, beautiful, strong woman, doesn't help her to get postpartum depression treatment correctly, blames all of it on her, and then tells her it's because she wasn't being a woman. Okay, and now these two idiots are out here in the world coaching people on how to be healthy, happy, and productive based on their Scientology teachings, which they have completely embraced. Okay. And yeah, that is insane in the membrane. Insane, got no brain. Yeah. What? Okay. Yeah, I told you guys, yeah, sorry. I'm looking at my back end here. That one's still, yeah. This morning I woke up and like all the videos I'd recently done were all like demonetized by YouTube. So yeah. Right, Mary? No, you have not. No, you have not, Mary. You're a strong, capable, badass woman. Okay? Don't you let anybody yeah. Don't let anybody tell you different. I start a couple things here, but I'm also going to go through questions and comments here. To all of us mothers, we bore our children, birthed them, and love them and care for them. It is a crime to shame any of that. This is very true. Oh, now what? Thank you. The use of mother's little helper, which of course was alcohols, was rife in the 50s. So many women trying to fit into roles they were not comfortable with. There was no real choice. Correct. Correct. All right, let's get to the comments here. Good morning, Nora. Reposted your TikTok video about recruiting from TikTok. Well, thank you, Cherokee. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Super Cool's in the house. They try to play it off as though they are a normal, regular couple doing other people's choreo. Not that they are dancers and choreographers. Yeah. No. Yeah. If sublimation worked, life might be easier, but it doesn't work. Correct, Valerie. Correct. It's a bunch of fucking bullshit. Amy says, I'm a registered nurse and this is bullshit. Thank you, Amy. I can't even comment. It's so sick. I feel you, Caroline. Sounds like modern day GOP with all of the procreation talk. Yeah. On my other channel, guys, Oh No America, I'm literally going through Project 2025 line by line. And yeah, they agree with Elron. But also, isn't it convenient now that the Scientology role models are also espousing this stuff just at the right time to blend with the Christians, right? Are they going to have no more women in the Sea Org? Are we letting all the women go so they can have babies? Are we only going to recruit young boys into the Sea Organization? Just have a complete sausage fest in there? Because why should any of them even get married? What's the point? If you're not going to fulfill your destiny on the second dynamic. And what happens when the woman in the Sea Org outranks the man because she has a better, a higher post? Is that okay? And that happened a lot. Myself says Diana was not born until 1952. The original dedication of the book was to his first daughter, correct, Alexis. That is the daughter he said he never had. That's also the one that he wrote to the mom when he kidnapped her to Cuba and said, I'm going to kill myself and her if you leave me. He was a peach. Cute Steffi, the level of depravity from the founder is incredible. How we all fell for this and how others still do is why you are here, why you care, and why you want action and need our help. We love you. I love you too, Steffi. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely 100%. Michelle Kelly, thank you, Nora, for teaching us these things at the cost of your own pain. I'm sorry you've been through so much in your life. Many hugs to you. Thank you. Thank you. Suzanne says, do not make me get on my broom and fly out there to hug you too. You're incredibly kind, loving, and strong. We got you, sis. We got you. Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. You need to remind yourself that LRH was a filthy, slimy old fart. This is very true, man. That's very true. Steffi says, God bless your wife. She's an angel. I agree. A never end who's always in with you with whatever I want to do. What else can I ask for? Yeah. My wife is, to quote Tina Turner, simply the best. I didn't grow up in a cult or even religious. I still blame myself for things regarding my teen. Now repeat after me. It was not my fault. Now a few more times. Thank you, Fawcett. Thank you. Nora, you know you couldn't have changed it. As a mom, I understand it's impossible not to question yourself, but never stop reminding yourself that it's not your fault. I try on a daily basis. Debbie's here, my fellow Wrexham fan. Went through emotions of self-blame. I still do. My son was 15 days over induced also. He has severe autism, ADHD, learning disabilities, developed epilepsy at 18. We did nothing wrong. That's a rough go. I hope I'm sure your son is doing well now, but that's a lot. That's a lot. Suzanne says, as a parent of 2 spectrum kids, I get the self-blame. I'm here to remind you that genetics happen. Our kids are perfect the way they are. They are incredible and you're incredible. Thank you. Thank you, Suzanne. My 11-year-old has severe ADHD and behavioral problems. I question myself as well sometimes, but everyone is born different and our children are perfect. Yes. Yes, Trisha. Elizabeth is here. When I found out my youngest was born with cystic fibrosis, a genetic disease, someone told me it was my fault and get over it. Now he has autism, ADHD, and seizures. The guilt and pain is real. Yeah. And fuck that person who told you that. Like, honestly. Yes, for all of us raising kids on the spectrum and neurodivergence, we got this together. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, ladies. With my oldest, who was premature, the doc helped pain meds because he believed I and others who got pregnant. He didn't give you pain meds because he believed that you and others who got pregnant deserved to feel everything during birth. It was my fault the baby came early. That guy should have his fucking license pulled. What a fucking barbarian piece of shit. Jesus. This is a perfect excuse to veg the rest of the day under a blanket and have a Mia Jovovich movie marathon. I do love her. I do love her. Katie Porter's whiteboard. I had to read this as a CERG member who wanted kids. You're not alone. We're fantastic parents and we did the right thing. Yes. Yes. I take comfort when I see CERG recruiters who have left and have beautiful children and families. Most of them did. Yeah. Yeah. Marla Godfrey. You never have to say sorry for showing your feelings. Thank you, Marla. Thank you. So what does it mean to be looked at as a woman? I was a stay-at-home mom for about 6 months before I had to get a job. It's not for everyone. Yeah. Southern Mimi says, I'm sure Nova will not appreciate this when she gets older. I think Nova's a boy, though. Nova's their son. It sounds like they're saying Nova fucked up their life. Yeah, pretty much. That guy looks like he needs not only to get to OTA pronto, but he needs a spa day and a beer. The gaslighting is strong in this video, and the word salads are lovely with those two. Just add vinaigrette. My sons would prefer I ran around with a paper bag over my head and this delightful running comment, Mom is another guy train car getting attached to your engine after being single for years. Oh, Martha. Thank you, Katie. I choose the bear over this guy also. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's get to the questions here. Will I be joining Gen Exercise with Scientology dance bullshit? That would be amazing. Also, TikTok's going away January 19th, so who gives a fuck? Yes, she's a Scientologist. Thank you for playing along here, Vernon. Do I think Elron was like a psychopath or sociopath? Oh, both. I think both. No, there's just parts that are stuck in my brain, Vernon, that fuck me up like today. Oh, thank you. I already read that one. Why would you read this shit? Please stop. Just talk about it if you want. Thank you, Pippi. The reason why I wanted to read it, because my wife asked me the same thing, is that his words matter. The exactness of the words and displaying that, because here's part of the problem in finding Scientology, guys. And part of, in my opinion, part of fighting Scientology and educating about Scientology is also educating you guys who have never been in Scientology so you can understand what I believed and what people are still believing inside the church. But the other half of it isn't just like a broad interpretation or like telling you guys that, because I know you would understand all that, okay? I don't think that my audience is dumb. However, asterisk, Scientologists, who some may be watching this, right? Just on the low, and hello on the low Scientologists, you are safe here. I love you. Please keep watching, okay? But Scientologists on the low have very firmly planted in their brain, if it isn't written, it isn't true. And telling people about things like you're suggesting, Pippi, is what Scientology called verbal tech, right? And verbal tech is a high crime. It's bad. So although it rips open scars that I have that are real, as you guys can see, that are still very much affecting me, to not read that in its entirety and break down all of it for the under the cover. Guys, I just fucked my shit up because instead of saying jump scare, I said scare jumps. So now I've got things all wonkadoodle and I'm a little out of it right now because that really did fuck me up. But anyway, I'm digressing. I'm sorry for a second here. But I also want anybody who's inside Scientology, OSA, or anyone else to also understand exactly what I'm talking about based on their own scriptures, on their own technology. Because once you start to believe and start unraveling this technology from your brain, that is when the healing starts. That's when the aha moments start, right? And you can't have those. You cannot start to deprogram or even get away from Scientology until you see that the technology itself, L. Ron's words, L. Ron's ideas are bad and harmful, right? So that's my effort to explain it to you guys so you can see it in full, and also to possibly, maybe, reach the one Scientology person that's out there watching, with the fallacy of their own technology, right? So, yeah. If I had a way to do that didn't hurt my brain, I would do that. I haven't discovered that yet. Yeah. You're the other Lolo. I'm the other Lolo. Okay. Thank you, Lolo. So, yeah. Oh. Sandykins, this is awful. I'm so sorry. I blame myself. He was born with Down syndrome, autism, and a hole in his heart. Then a church group convinced me that if you get breast cancer, it's because you're a bad mom. I'm sorry. That is so despicable and horrific. And I'm so sorry, Sandy. I'm sure you're a fantastic mom, you know? You got to go win some bread at your second job off to Taco Bell. All right, well, go get it. Go get all that money, Suzanne. Oh, you want to watch Kill Bill now? I feel like that might be a good thing to watch. Oh, right. Mother's Little Helper is Valium. That's right. Right. I'm sorry. Wow, Rachel. No, it just sounds like you're an incredible wife who's very strong, by the way. And I'm sorry that happened to your husband. Oh, man. All right. Well, here's the deal, guys. I did make a TikTok. Guys, I made a TikTok. I'm going to show you. I made a TikTok. Please, if you have TikTokies, go watch this, repost it. But I'll show you guys my TikTok right now. Hey, this one's actually, is that my best TikTok? I think that's my best TikTok. No, one I made about the election had more. That one went kind of like 1,200. And my bathroom one has 14. You guys want to see my best TikTok? This is my best TikTok, and I wish I could make more things like this. And it was spontaneous, and I should do that. Okay, guys. So this is real life construction happening out here. Now, people like to say that they can go poop anywhere, right? They're like, I'm comfortable taking a poop no matter what. Look at these guys. They're working hard. They're in that hole. All right, like that's a choice. But I'm going to issue a challenge here. It's a poop challenge. I'm going to say this is like level 10,000, 1 million. All right, you got traffic, you got apartment buildings, you got houses on the other side. Right here, guys, right here. Are you person enough to just climb into that honey bucket right there in the middle of traffic and do your business? Just get it going. Let's do it. Okay, guys. So that video got 14,000 views. I've never, the only other video that got 1,000 views was this one up here. This was
Don, let me play some sound. It's from Donald Trump, who's just continuing his attacks on Vice President Harris, as he did last night. Here it is.
Kamala is mentally impaired. Joe Biden became mentally impaired. Kamala was born that way. She was born that way. And if you think about it, only a mentally disabled person could have allowed this to happen to our country. Anybody would know that.
You know, something I find interesting.
Sometimes, and then I go into the where Kamala came from. But like what I find interesting about Trump's way he talks is like he talks strong and then he starts whispering. It's just like he starts talking to himself a little bit. But this is the one I posted about these guys. Okay, guys, we need to talk about TikTok and the viral dances. Now, I don't know if any of you guys watched the 7M cult documentary on Netflix. That shit blew my mind, but I didn't. If you guys haven't seen that documentary on Netflix, it's fucking amazing. No, that we have our very own Scientology TikTokers, right? Look, right here. The Valinskis, okay? They have 532,000 followers, right? They have 4.6 million likes. Now, some of you may go, well, where's the proof that these guys are Scientologists? Please hold. This is an article from Scientology's Freedom Mag. It says, Scientologists Claude and Noah use movement. See, I thought her name was pronounced Claude. I thought she was Noah, like Noah Cyrus, but I had it wrong. So I apologize to Claude for mispronouncing your name. To take wellness and those they help to the next level. They made a whole video about them on this article. Okay, look at this. And they even show their actual TikTok. See, right there. It's the same people. So sometimes, guys, sometimes we can't have nice things. By supporting them, by liking these things, this isn't just like the let's ignore celebrities trend, which is also kind of cool. But every like, every repost that you give that gives them then TikTok revenue, that revenue goes to the Church of Scientology. Okay, the Church of Scientology that loves to traffic children, that loves to traffic humans from all over the world to, put in place to do slave labor for their pretend religion and pretend space navy, right? This has to stop. We cannot keep cutifying Scientology. So I beg of you, please unfollow, don't like any more of their stuff, and tell them I can't support Scientology. I don't support human traffickers, okay, or child traffickers. And if you don't, well, what I'm talking about, they also report the SAF people. They also support that. They don't report it. That was a misspeak on my part. They don't report it. They support it, okay? AKA Danny Masterson. That's all you need to know. Danny Masterson, they covered up his crimes for decades and punished who? Not him, the women, okay? So let's not, guys, don't get it twisted. They're adorable. They're handsome. They're very talented. I can't dance like that, you know, but they're Scientologists. Every penny of that money they're earning is going to Scientology, which only harms and punishes people in a torturous, work, labor camp type environment. Okay. So let's just cut that off right now. Okay. So if you're not on the TikTok now, you saw the TikTok. All right. Go check it out. It's everything's the same across the social medias. Raised in Scientology here. If you follow me on my other channels, of course, it'll be Oh No America or Gen Exercise, wherever you go. Yeah. So this is the real deal, is that this is another way that they are trying to infiltrate mainstream media, okay, via social media. Now, they may be shit out of luck soon because, as you can see on Instagram and YouTube, they don't have, even combined, they have like not even a quarter of their following on TikTok. So I know a lot of TikTok creators who have big followings are really freaking out, trying to get all their content downloaded, trying to get all their shit put up in other places, but it's really hard because they can't just mass upload all their shit at once, right? Otherwise, the internal systems of those social medias think that you're a bot. Right. So let's say you've been on TikTok for 5 years and you have 5 years worth of content that now you have to re-upload on YouTube. Right. And then you have to be careful because it's still on TikTok right now. And YouTube could be like, oh, it's a copyright violation because you're just reusing other content. Like, if you notice, I put this video on TikTok. I didn't also put it up as a short on YouTube. Right. Because technically that could have been a short. I have to produce a completely other piece of information to put on YouTube. Otherwise, the YouTube algorithm gods, the little AI that searches, is like, uh-oh, hot dog, that's from TikTok. Delete, 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 right? Like, because it's just, it gets insane, right? So yeah. Oh my goodness, now we're talking about Fox P. What is happening? The newish movie with the African-American tribe of warriors starring, The Woman King. The Woman King is the name of that movie. The Woman King. Wonder Woman is my jam. In case you guys didn't know, I have her with me at all times. I have Wonder Woman right here on my arm. Yeah. So I rewatch Wonder Woman now and again to remind myself of the true power of women and sisterhood and community and what that means. Yeah. Sorry, guys. My hair is doing like the Gen Z middle part, and that drives me nuts. So I can't have that. All right, guys. You have foxes. Oh, my goodness. I've seen videos of foxes snot face where they're like, "Meow," like they do this weird like yell. That's hilarious. You should start a YouTube. I don't know why they're not up here. August and Finnick are not entertaining the whole world. I don't know. Oh, my goodness. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I really, really appreciate it. That was a hard one. That was a really, yeah. Just as a reminder, in case you guys want, you're under no obligations whatsoever, but please come see my store. Please come buy some. I have made some new things. Oh, well, not on this store, on my Oh No America store, but I'll show you guys anyway. We still have the Merry Cultmas items up for sale. That's going to go through Christmas, of course, and Hanukkah. We've got beanies, we've got hats. But on my, and I know I don't talk politics on this channel, but I'm just going to show you guys because I'm excited about these things that I made. If I go to my Oh No America channel, ohnoamerica.com, I played the TikTok about becoming a Regina George liberal, and I made 2 different versions of that because I was inspired. So you have this one, which is very cool, on sweatshirts and shirts, and then this one, which is also on sweatshirts and shirts. And I'm got one on pre-order that I'm gonna be rocking. I'm so glad you got your correct shirt, Capricious Caroline, since you are the one that demanded that product, and it came true. And I'm very, very excited. And Castilla's gifting memberships, y'all. Thank you so much for that. And 5 memberships have just been gifted. Janet got one. Antics of Mama Squirrel got one. Susie Q. And Smooth Steve and Lady Marsh all got a membership there from you, Anne. Thank you so much for that. Just to make sure I didn't miss any other member announcements. Oh, Michelle Kelly became a member during this live. Thank you so much for that. Let's see here. Yeah. Right, Liz? Right? Like the contrast is gross. It's ironic that it's low tone to be disinterested in kids when CERG members can't have them by policy. Isn't that bringing them down tone? Yes. Yes. The whole thing is a fucking mind fuck over and over and over and over again. That's all that Scientology is a circle jerk of, gave memberships because I can't use another t-shirt. Well, thank you, Anne. Thank you. And guys, if you want to become a member, Anne was so generous to give some memberships. I just did a members only Q&A. I will be uploading some members only content coming up here in this next week. Special uploads just for the members. The memberships start at 99 cents and the most is $5 a month, guys. This is not even a whole Starbucks coffee per month. So if you want to, that would be amazing. Go ahead, give it a try, be a member. It'll be fun. We can have secret talks. Liz does have the best hair, man. She really does. She has fantastical hair, 100%. I've seen it in real life. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. All right, guys, I've got a bunch more shenanigans coming up. I got to make content on the other channels, but also got to eat some lunch. Please do. Thank you, Anne. Remember to hit that like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Repost this something, share it. Share it with the friends. That helps me out so, so much. All right. And until next time, I'll see y'all on the flippity dippity. Thank you, as always, to my mods for keeping this stream right and tight. Thank you for all of you viewing to know why we're here, what we're up against, what we keep fighting, and the truth that we're constantly trying to bring out here on this channel. Please go see my other videos. Click that link for my link tree, and I'll see you next time on the flippity dippity.